Detroit Den 313. We're back. Before we get rolling, you know what to do. You guys been doing it. Hit that subscribe button, hit that bell icon, so you don't miss our content. Steve, talk to the people.
We're going to talk today a little bit about these rookies who are having huge impacts. We're going to talk about Brad Holmes. We're going to talk about we're just going to talk Lions football. So if you guys are Lions football fans, hit that subscribe button. Will, I got a question for you.
Fire it.
It's not you're not going to hit on every draft class. We're aware. You're not going to hit on every pick. Not every pick's going to be a home run. But Brad Holmes has done a masterful job of building this team through the draft. We're going to talk Sam Laporta. We're going to talk Brian Branch. We're going to talk Jahmyr Gibbs, Jack Campbell. Yeah. Do you think Brad Holmes is one draft class away from competing with those big dogs in the NFC like the Eagles, the Niners, the Cowboys? Do you think we're that close? Are we knocking on the door?
Come on. Yeah, you already know. I feel like we're a pass rusher away from being an absolute problem. I know people have said things about our back end. I think they're crazy. I love our back end, especially when we add CJ Gardner-Johnson to it. Man, if we got a pass rush and that window of opportunity for these quarterbacks goes from I don't even have enough screen for it to this, look out. So, yes, I think that we are just a draft away from being an absolute problem. I know people hate to hear that whole ahead of schedule type thing, and I'm not big on that either. I think that we have a team that can win right now, but our ability to be able to win will be better after this draft that we're going to see next season, in my opinion. Steve, how you feel about it?
I disagree with you completely.
I don't believe you.
I don't want Brad Holmes to draft a pass rusher.
What do you want him to draft?
I don't. Wide receiver, a guard. Because I want Brad Holmes to go out and sign a pass rusher.
I know what you're talking about.
There's a lot of guys out there. I think if you can go get one of those proven guys, pass rushers are hard to judge. They're hard to tell. I mean, a lot of people were high on some guys last year, like Tyree Wilson, who hasn't done anything. Projected top 5, hasn't even played to my knowledge. I want him to just go out there, no bullshitting around, sign one of those guys. We've talked about it before. Daniil Hunter, Brian Burns, Chase Young's going to be out there. Some people think Josh Allen from the Jacksonville Jaguars is going to be available. I don't. I understand. I did a whole episode on this the other night. You guys can go find that. I kind of broke that down more in depth. But I want him to go out and sign one of those guys that's proven, that can help Hutch. We don't have any question marks. If you want to fix the D-line, you want to fix the pass rush, go get guys who are proven in the NFL instead of, I don't want to use the word wasting, but utilizing draft capital on it when it's going to be a question mark. Will these guys be ready for the NFL? I would rather see Brad Holmes do that, do it my way, the Steve Perkins way. Sign some guys. Go out and use those draft capital on some linemen, some offensive linemen, kind of fix some holes that we have there. We'll see what we're missing with Jonah Jackson, what's going to go on there. But I do think we are one off season away. I don't want to say one draft, one off season away from being contenders with those big dogs in the NFC.
So what I just heard is we need help on our offensive line, and we need to sign a pass rusher and drive or go draft Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yeah, we get Marvin Harrison Jr. Yeah. Brad Holmes is going to sell everything to move up into the top 3 of the draft. No, that's not what I'm saying, Will. But I would be ecstatic if we somehow landed Marvin Harrison. But I'm not going to live in Madden world anymore.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
So I think we're one off season away. But let's talk about some of the rookies that Brad Holmes has drafted that have had huge impacts for the Detroit Lions so far. Who's your favorite one? I already know who you're going to say.
Buddy. I wish I could stick a mouth guard on the top of my hat right now. Are you out of your mind? Brian Branch is an absolute killer, man. That one-handed pick that he had last week, oh my goodness, he's just a dog. Things got kind of quiet on him when he got banged up. For some people, I was still just drooling over him. I just think he's an absolute beast, man. I can't believe that we got him in the 2nd round. It's an absolute sin that even happened. We had 32 idiots ahead of us. Like he's a guy that I probably would have been thinking about taking when we took Jack Campbell, when we took Sam Laporta, I just can't even imagine a world where he doesn't go in the top 15. He's an absolute dog. He's a difference maker. I know Sam Laporta's been on fire. I know Jahmyr Gibbs has looked great, but man, Brian Branch is my dude. You're not going to tell me otherwise.
Ryan Branch is like a little bottle rocket too, man. He's fast. He gets in that backfield. He can some tackles for losses. I want to see him kind of put some more pressure on with some blitzes, man. They talked about him coming out of the draft and how good of a blitzer he was.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we've really even seen him blitz a quarterback yet. But with our pass rush, maybe it's coming. We've always said that sometimes, maybe we got some stuff in our back pocket. That might be one of them.
For
But
sure.
I don't know if you know this, but Sam Laporta no longer goes by Sam Laporta.
Oh gosh.
It's Sam Laporta. I'm gonna make this fit. I would not even refer to him as this will be the last time you hear me call him Sam Laporta. It is Goda from now on. Knocking on the door of 1,000 yards receiving for a rookie tight end might break Mike Ditka's record from 1961 for receiving yards for a tight end. When we were drafting, and I'm guilty, I'm going to confess a sin here, and you already know where I'm going.
Yep.
I was scared to death that the Detroit Lions were going to take a tight end in the first 2 rounds. Yep. I had PTSD from the Hawkinsons, the Ebrons, the Pettigrews. I was a scarred Lions fan.
Mm-hmm.
When we took him and I started watching his tape coming out of Iowa, a team that can't even spell offense, and I'm sitting here thinking, how does a tight end like him come from a school that doesn't have any production offensively? But when I see his tape and how he ran, how he caught the ball, how he looks to hit people, and he's sure-handed. He's been Goff's security blanket all season, just hitting them on crossing routes, deep posts. Like he catches everything. I think I've honestly seen him drop one actual dropped pass this whole season. That's something I can live with. So I think absolute home run. I think we're not going to dare I say he might be getting fitted right now for a gold jacket.
What?
Yeah.
Buddy. Only one getting gold jackets around here is Brian Branch.
Maybe we get 2.
We might have to get 2.
2 gold jackets is a good problem to have for the Detroit Lions. No. And then we got probably the most questionable pick of the NFL draft, Jahmyr Gibbs.
Yeah. I think, man, Jahmyr Gibbs is an absolute problem. I actually got into this debate with somebody about Jahmyr Gibbs and Bijan Robinson, talking about how if Bijan Robinson was in Detroit, he'd be having as equal to or a better year than Jahmyr Gibbs is having. And I just fired back with this. I think Bijan Robinson is a great football player. He's not a Detroit Lion, so I don't care about him. But if we're going to debate about it, I like Jahmyr Gibbs' versatility better than Bijan Robinson's. I mean, and that's just the bottom line. I think Bijan Robinson can catch some screen passes and go crazy with them. He can catch some little deke and duck passes. But I think Jahmyr Gibbs is going to be, and I keep saying it, a Marshall Faulk type player that you can line up at receiver and he can flat out play. And I don't think that's what you're going to get out of Bijan. And I think that's what's ultimately going to make him a difference maker. And you're going to see that come playoff time. And if we don't see the peak of it come playoff time, 2024 season is probably gonna be something that the whole league is talking about.
Yeah, I think when we were doing our draft stuff back in March and April, and people were kind of crucifying us for saying that we both thought Jahmyr Gibbs was the better running back. And when the Detroit Lions had an opportunity to take Bijan Robinson but traded back, I started to wonder: are we going to take Jahmyr Gibbs at all? Is he even going to be there? When we took him at 12, people were losing their minds saying, what are you doing drafting a running back in the top 15?
Yeah.
We're not drafting a running back. We're drafting an offensive weapon.
Yeah.
We're drafting a guy that anytime he touches the ball can go 89 yards for a touchdown. Yeah. We're drafting a receiver and a running back. It's not, people look at it as just, you're just drafting a running back, a guy you turn and hand the ball to. No, that's not what we did. Mm-hmm. We drafted a guy that is a difference maker in football.
Yeah, period.
So, I mean, I even seen some, you've seen it too. Some of the bigger network guys out there crucifying it, calling the draft trash, and you don't draft for positional value. The Lions didn't have any glaring needs going into the draft. I mean, I think we do now that we see what this pass rush is doing. Maybe we could go back and look at it a little differently, but we're not going to do that.
Can I talk about something crazy?
The floor is open.
So normally I don't do this, but this one really got me. And I got to see how the people feel about it. Are we just too critical of our viewers? Because we had a viewer just this last night put a comment.
I know where you're going.
down that said Brad Holmes should be fired.
Yeah.
Brad Holmes should be fired.
Yeah.
And if not, he should be on the hot seat. Please, guys, put it in the comments. I'm not gonna drop names. I'm not gonna drop
I
names.
don't remember the name, but I remember
Oh, I
sitting there.
remember the name. I remember the name because I couldn't even. I was glad you responded to it because I couldn't even form words when I saw it. I'm like, Brad Holmes should be fired.
There are some other people who replied to it too. So if you guys don't know what we're talking about, you can go back and look at one of our videos from yesterday. There's two of
Wow.
them up. It was one of those, and
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
Brad Holmes is the best GM the Detroit Lions have ever had. End of
Hey,
story.
hey, he's one of the best GMs in football right now. So, what are we talking about? What are we talking about? So, yeah, I think that he has been slaying the drafts, and it didn't start here. He was doing it when he was with the Rams. So, I don't know, man. I am super excited about what we have now in Detroit, and I'm super excited to see what we have moving forward. One guy that I want to know how you feel about that we haven't hit on has not hit the field yet for us, but just recently got cleared in the last few weeks. How do you feel about Hendon Hooker?
You know how I feel about Hendon Hooker.
Talk to the people. The people want to know.
He's 105 years old.
Yeah.
Playing quarterback. No, I like Hendon Hooker. I don't know what his future is going to be on the Lions. I'm not sure he's going to be a future starter for the Detroit Lions. I could see him being a future starter maybe for someone else. I think if he's here, he's going to be a backup. I've thrown out some scenarios there where, okay, if Goff gets extended, Hendon Hooker is going to be the backup. All right, if you let Jared Goff walk, is Hendon Hooker the guy? I don't know if you can throw an unproven rookie back there. I just don't know. I like his style of play. I like he can throw the ball. I like that he's athletic. He can throw a nuke, but it doesn't always mean you're just because you did it in college doesn't mean you're going to do it in the NFL. I mean, it's just not the odds aren't in his favor.
So why did we draft him?
That's a good question because I didn't want to draft him. I wanted some defense. You'll vouch for me on that one. I wanted some defense, and we went out and drafted a guy that's not going to have an impact on this team all year. And look at what that's doing right now.
And you can also vouch for me that he was on my mock drafts. So Hendon Hooker late. I felt exactly I shouldn't say I felt exactly what Brad Holmes and those guys felt because I don't know what they felt truly. But my assumption is they thought that they could potentially be getting a first round caliber QB in the third or fourth round. I was taking them in my mock drafts later in the third and fourth round, just with that thought process. So with that being said, I don't think that we should pay Jared Goff until we get a good look at Hendon Hooker. Now, Jared Goff's our quarterback, and I enjoy Jared Goff. I'm not going to say I love him because I don't love him, but I really enjoy him. I really think really highly of him. I think if you keep him clean, he is an elite quarterback. What I want is an elite quarterback that you don't have to keep clean. An elite quarterback to where if the plays break down, he can still make plays. Now, did Jared Goff make some plays just by the hair on his chin last week that broke down? He did. I got to give him his flowers. But is it something that he's known for? No, he's known for if he gets pressure, this thing, the wheels fall off this thing. So, is Hendon Hooker that guy? I don't know, but I'm looking forward to seeing in the 2024 season what he has to offer. And we need to be taking that into the thought process of, do we go pay Jared Goff $50 million? So he's another rookie that I think that whether he is successful or not, it's a great pick by Brad Holmes because it was a value pick that could turn into a Jalen Hurts type situation. When Jalen Hurts got drafted, he was on the value menu, right? And everybody was like, man, what is Philly doing? Why are they drafting a quarterback right there? They don't need a quarterback, blah, 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 blah. And then look at what he's doing now. So maybe we got a guy that can ball out for us off the dollar menu.
I think you're right about we need to see Hendon Hooker. The problem I have is that's not going to be this year. That's not going to be until 2024.
Yep.
And the only time you're going to see him in 2024, hopefully, is preseason. So you think okay, practices, yeah, maybe, but practices and games are completely different. You know that. Yeah. So you're not actually going to see Hendon Hooker in quote unquote real football until the 2024 preseason, which still that's not even it's full contact, but you're not really dialing up any creative plays in preseason.
Well, I think that you're going to get him some snaps at practice, which he's not getting right now. And I think that you're wrong, man. I think that you will see Hendon Hooker in games. So if we're sitting at 9-3, or if we're sitting at a situation where we have the conference locked up, I think that you got to send Hendon Hooker out there and say, okay, young lad, let me see
Are
what
you
you got.
talking this year or next year?
No, next year. He's not going to
Okay.
play this year, but
Careful
no,
now.
but I'm talking about next year. So if you're sitting in a situation next year to where maybe we haven't extended golf yet, or maybe we're just looking to see what Hendon Hooker has, you try them out there and see. Or garbage duty, you try them out there and see. They're gonna see what they have in Hendon Hooker, and those traits are gonna show. Um, and then they're gonna move accordingly. I look at somebody like Dude Love, man, out there in Green Bay, right? Everybody thought that he was absolute trash. So and when I look at Dude Love and I look at Hendon Hooker, I don't see Dude Love being somebody that
You're
is,
referring to Jordan Love for those of you who don't know who Dude Love is.
yeah, Dude Love. Yeah. So Dude Love out there, man. Yeah, he's not Jordan Love to me. He's just Dude Love. But I don't see him out there doing anything that is super special. He is just playing efficient, solid football. I'm just not one that believes that Hendon Hooker won't have the ability to be able to do at least that. And if he can with an elite offensive line while we're paying him $2.50 a game, and now we're able to pay our offensive line and maybe go get another offensive lineman that's proven in free agency instead of going to get drafting a offensive lineman in the second round. Right? And then depending on a Corby Swordstall to come out there and make some plays. Maybe we can go get another elite dog and put him on that offensive line instead of that. So if Hendon can play, we can go get pieces, man, and go pay him cents on the dollar until we have to make that decision on whether or not we extend them, or that second deal would be the problem. But in the meantime, we could have guys on rookie deals, and we could keep this thing rolling. So I'm not saying that that's what we need to do yet, but we got to take a look at it.
I think the one thing that we have the luxury of right now as it sits today is time to figure it out. So, I mean, that'll all sort itself out next year. So we've kind of talked a little bit about heavily on rookies, Brad Holmes, who none of us want fired except for that one guy. I said at the beginning of the episode, you're not going to hit on every single draft that you do, draft player. We missed on one. I think I could close the book on Broderick Martin. I'm not seeing it, because you know why I'm not seeing it? Because I don't even see him on the damn field.
See, I'm not closing the book on Broderick Martin because you don't. It's kind of like the JMO thing. JMO was an athlete. He was fast and he had an ability to make plays before he started doing it. So when everybody was hammering JMO, and by hammering him, they were at least talking about how he could potentially be a bust, or they were calling him a bust. I was looking at him like, this is a guy who's got the tools and eventually he's going to be successful. I look at Broderick Martin the same way. He is a guy who wants to be successful. He is one of the hugest humans on our team. He's got the longest arms on our team, right? He just needs to learn how to play with his pad level. I think that he is a season to 2 seasons away from being a guy that contributes in this National Football League. And I hope that we don't do something really stupid, like develop him and then let him slip out the door and go somewhere and go be a solid football player. I think that we
need to see him on the field.
Yeah, and I think that we're going to right now because Aleem's out. So I think that he's going to get a couple of snaps. I'm not going to say that he's going to get all of them, because he's not. Isaiah Bucks is probably going to come back and get in the mix. We just signed the guy from Pittsburgh or the Jacksonville Jaguars. I don't know where he played last. I just think that Broderick Martin is going to get a couple of more snaps and a couple of more opportunities. But he's a project, man. But he's a large human. He's a powerful human. And he just needs to learn how to play with a lower pad level.
Looks good in a 10X hoodie. I'll say that, but that's the only time I see him. So, I mean, right now, as it sits today, Thursday, December 7th, Broderick Martin's been a miss so far. I have a philosophy. If you're drafted in the first 3 rounds, maybe 4, you should be making some type of impact on your team. Past round 4, it's kind of, you don't really know what you're going to get. I think the first 3 rounds for sure you're drafting guys to come in and play. And he hasn't even put pads on for more than 1 or 2 games. So that's my concern. Same thing with Hendon Hooker. I like him. I didn't like him at the time. I think we could have got something. Our defense is kind of showing that maybe we could have took something else right there with those 2 picks and helped out this defense a little bit. That's my philosophy.
It's 3rd round for me. 3rd round is when I'm willing to accept projects. I'm willing to accept guys that may not pan out. I'm willing to accept risk taking. Round 1 and 2 should be guys that should be on the field that current season coming up. And I'm not saying game one, but sometime throughout that season, they should be contributing as a position player, not just as a special teamer.
I agree. I mean, I just push it back to round 3.
Yeah.
But today we talked about a lot of rookies. We talked about them all that are on the team and actually have maybe a future. We didn't get into like the Antoine Greens or anything like that because he's on the practice squad. So we're not going to talk about all those guys. Talked about a lot of rookies, Gibbs, Campbell, not so much, but we're kind of still feeling him out, seeing what he can do. He's just now kind of blossoming into his own, I think, where he's going to start seeing more reps. I think he played not great, not bad against the Saints. I think he was just average is fair, but it's a hard position to learn. Yeah. So we didn't really fully break down Jack Campbell. We talked about Sam Lagoda. I'm going to get Mickey to say it before the end of the season. It might slip, but it will happen. We talked about Jahmyr Gibbs. We talked about Brian Branch. We got some dogs. So the question is for you guys out there, leave a comment down below. Is Brad Holmes one offseason away from having the Detroit Lions up there in the same conversation with the San Francisco 49ers, the Dallas Cowboys, the Philadelphia Eagles? I think we're in that second tier right now. I don't see us making a Super Bowl run this year, as much as that breaks my heart. But I will say, we talked about schedules. I will say that the Detroit Lions are on schedule. We're on schedule right now. We're not behind. We're not ahead. We're right exactly where I thought we would be, winning the division, hosting a home playoff game. Let's get that monkey off our back of a playoff win. We're on the right track. Doesn't happen overnight. Super Bowls are hard to win. Hardest trophy to win in any sport. So we're on the right course. We got to stay the track. We'll get there. I think we're one off season away. Leave a comment down below. Let us know how you feel. Hit that like button if you're new to this channel, new to seeing our faces. You like Detroit Lions football? Hit that subscribe button for us. We'll be back tomorrow with some more content, guys.
Peace.